Trader.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everybody. All five of us. Welcome back to the Frivolity. This is our daily brief morning update. Hey, there's Norre. Norre and Adam, you guys, I could set my watch to you guys. You're so dependable and reliable, consistent. And Vaca, I could set my watch to Vaca. In fact, I'll set my watch to Vaca time right now. Anyway, welcome back to the Frivolity. Here we are, the 7th of June, officially 1 week from the June FOMC event date. Actually, interesting to see. The Canadians actually decided to go and raise interest rates this morning, as you can see from our international calendar. At least I think that's what this says. Where is it? Maybe I got the wrong date on here. Anyway, the Canadians did have interest rate decision. There we are, Bank of Canada interest rates. And actually, they had kind of taken a bit of a pause and a little bit surprising. I guess a meeting or two ago, they're kind of falling behind the Americans on the interest rate curve. And interesting, so I want to think of another word other than interesting, but anyway. I was half expecting the Canadian currency to really fall out of bed there. But the data coming out of Canada, it's still pretty darn strong. And if anything, we've got a major problem with inflation here in Canada. I don't know if it's calming down like locally on the street in the US. Be curious to see what like grocery prices and stuff look like for Joe Sixpack. But I can tell you, just as a good citizen of Canada, and the stupid substitute drama teacher is going to go in and pass like a 20% tax on energy. What a jerk. Oh God, talk about adding fuel to the inflation fire. This is going to just absolutely kill us Canadians. So we still got a lot of inflationary problems here in Canada. So if anything, good to see that these cronies, in the Rothschilds, puppets, whatever the hell you want to call them, actually trying to keep pace with the Americans. A little bit dangerous if Canada falls too far behind the curve. So anyway, Canadians did go and raise interest rates this morning. And I think probably, I don't know whether you see it here. Yeah, they did take a bit of a pause. And I think actually that didn't help the situation. I noticed a whole bunch of real estate developers all going out apeshit crazy still. So they, haven't slowed that train down at all. And as I said, substitute drama teachers are trying to jam through just absolutely insane tax increases. So that's not going to help the inflation picture. So if anything, probably best that this Bank of Canada plays catch up with the US. Because the Canadians did take a pause there, though, maybe we make the argument that the Americans this go around take a bit of a pause. It's been sort of the scuttlebutt of late that the Americans might, what's the term that Effie used on Friday? And actually, I think I even put it in the little newsletter that we do for the broiler chickens.
Skip. Is that the word?
There you go. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. So anyway, that was one of the econs that drove market performance this morning. If anything, because I like to tell you guys I'm an open book. A lot of people, actually it was fascinating. I'll preface this conversation with you guys with Larry Williams had put out another one of his videos. I'm a big fan of Larry. Jesus in his late 70s, early 80s, been around the stock market forever. I tweeted it out after he had made it public. It was on YouTube, so I don't think it's too big of a stretch to share this. If it's behind paywalls and stuff, I don't really like to get into too much detail about these kind of videos. But in the after party, I think we'll pick this chart deck apart. I put together a chart deck of what Larry was talking about yesterday. And we'll go through some of his comments. And it's fascinating, like one of the main comments that he had, and I have to say he's absolutely spot on, is you can often tell when people are not really real market participants. They're more like shillers, and they're trying to sell newsletters, and they're trying to sell fear in the marketplace. And Larry goes on quite at length about it in the video, which I thought was very well done, about how and I'm trying to find the actual image that I shared with the public or on the Discord channel here, our chat room. This was one of the slides, and this guy couldn't have been more wrong. I mean, 96 days ago in Larry's video, this guy put out, in the next 90 days, the stock market's going to fall like 50%. And it's kind of irresponsible, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, first and foremost, do you think that the Fedsters would let the stock market just fall 50% in half? I mean, that's just not, it's like irresponsible. But this guy is a major shill, right? And of course, he wants you to buy his silver and all that kind of crap. So, I really don't like these kind of people that get into this. And of course, does he ever talk about his losing trades? Did he actually take a bet? Did he take this bet? Go buy a bunch of put options, and then obviously market didn't crash 50% in that 90 days. So do you hear him coming out and saying, "Well, I guess I was wrong"? Anyway, that's one reason why I really like Larry, is I think he's down to earth, and actually he has a very, very different take on the market than all of these sort of doom and gloomers and stuff. And like I said, in the after party, we'll look at some of Larry's comments with regard to the gold market. And if you're a gold market, you better be careful. And seasonally, this isn't the time to be bullish of gold anyway. You should wait till the end of the summer at the very best. So to that end, I like to be an open book with you guys. As I said, actually, I had a bunch of people. In fact, I had another person the other day say they're waiting for the boot camp to start up. So I was a bit surprised. If you are interested in sort of learning how I set myself up to day trade, well, I was a funded prop trader. I was a retail stock broker, options derivatives broker, futures broker. I mean, I've done everything in the business. So about 3 or 4 months ago, I sort of said, okay, well, on a daily basis, I'm just going to show you how I would suggest you set yourself up and how you approach the market on a daily basis. And I got to say, today is one of those kind of days where I literally had to force myself to shut things down, which sucks, right? I mean, we don't want to lose money in the market, but we're humans. I didn't really have that good of a sleep, only about maybe 4.5, 5 hours. So that should have been a warning sign right out of the gate. I did get up a little bit late for the opening range trade. That should have been a little bit of a warning sign. I did take the opening range trade with Chris and Josh this morning. And actually, it's so cool to see Josh has almost got the whole thing automated over on MT4. So it would be kind of fun to just turn the computers on and just let them take over and see how this plays out. But anyway, you can see we did have an opening range trade set up fail here this morning to go short. Move stop to scratch, levels were hit, and I got stopped out at scratch on the opening range trade. It's not that big of a deal. I suppose, I guess, what I'm finding, just me personally, me talking to you, talking to the audience, talking to the TRIers, all those kind of people. I don't know whether this setting myself up to take a trade off a 1 minute chart and then sort of transitioning back into my normal routine is really helping me or not. And this is sort of self-observation. And I think all of you have to do this if you really want to get good at this game. So what I found was, I went through my normal routine. NML for me stands for no man's land. So really, didn't really have anything set up level wise. We've still been fighting up at this megaphone level here on the stock market, but you can see, actually, I might even change that to a 1 minute chart. But I noticed that right out of the gate, some bad behaviors. I just blindly hit a level, which I don't think is really very good. You should have 3 unrelated reasons to justify taking a trade. And you can see how I basically got filled on the short side here and then quickly got stopped out here. And the thing is we're here to make money from trading. You start doing this kind of behavior over and over, and the losses can really start to add up quickly. So I did that trade, which I don't think it's a good idea to blindly hit a level. Actually, we should really change that to 1 minute. This was coming out of that opening range trade because we do work off of the 1 minute for the opening range trade. Then, I was like, okay, well, that's not that big of a deal. But it was technically a mistake, right? It's kind of an amateur move. If I was really interested in shorting this, I probably should have waited for the fractal. And then also too, maybe this is like a bullish ABCD and I should be thinking higher. So I took another shot off the 1 minute chart here and that got stopped out. So I'm down 30 ticks on the day. And I was just like, you know what? This is not going the way I planned my day trading. Because like I said, what I usually like to do, and when I find that I have success, it's I find 4-hour levels and then hunt my setups that I actually teach you in the education program off of those 4-hour levels. I was in no man's land. Really, I had no business trading crude. Put on a couple trades. Both of them punched me in the nose quite violently. And I just had to say, you know what? I'm not seeing it correctly. 2 mistakes in a row equals got to shut her down for the day. Just not being a professional trader today. So there you go. That's going to sell newsletters and that's going to sell subscriptions, eh? But I'm an open book. And when I have bad days, I might as well be completely honest with you guys and show you. Sometimes you zig when you should have zagged, and other times you just don't even really act professional. And that's unfortunately today's trade for me. Sucks, but hey, at least I'm not bullshitting you. As for sort of market expectations going forward, we had a really cool TRI SOF club meeting last night. Sort of changed gears. So I was just talking about day trading. Day trading, I shut it down. Still think that there's lots of opportunities out there for positions. Of course, you can see how many different trading plans I run. Holy crap. I'm all over the place. And half of my problem is maybe I should just concentrate on one thing and just get really, really good at that one thing and not try to be like an expert at everything. And I remember, like I teach you guys about a guy I used to trade with, Brandon Rigo, fictionally used to call him Mountain Man. And he used to always tease me about that. Beamish, you're so scatterbrained. You're all over the place. Mr. Hedge Fund Manager. Anyway, and of course, Brandon, he was just, all I do is I just trade crude oil. I just trade 61.8. So that's all I do. Anyway. But point of the matter here is really, I'm actually seeing some very interesting signals across the market. Was putting out tweets about one of the sectors that we're very interested in the market right now. And I did find it interesting that one of our OGs, who actually basically sort of quarterbacks the Tuesday meetings, David O, he actually found this article here that it turns out that nuclear is actually starting to get a little bit of a second wind. And I think I even put out I don't know where it is, but I put out an article recently about a guy who said he used to like swim in plutonium pools and stuff like that. Radiation is not really as bad as the oil industry has made it out to be. And he just simply says that there was a conspiracy to undermine nuclear, by the George Bushes and all those kind of people of the world. So anyway, I get the impression, especially with sort of global warming conversation. Let's all shit on energy. Now you can't buy like gas powered stoves down in the States and stuff. So is nuclear going to make a big comeback here? I don't know. But like one of the conversations that we had coming out of the meeting last night is, of course, we're always looking at names, and we're always trying to hunt setups and what are our 3 reasons to justify trading. And one of our locals here in Vancouver, actually, Michael pointed out this very interesting. I might call it an asymmetrical triangle. He's calling it a bull flag. I think you could call it a bull flag pole, right? So the distance of the A to B is your flag pole. Here is your flag, although I might call that a pennant, not a flag. I would call that an asymmetrical triangle. Anyway, you can see bot levels, and look at where this thing wants to go. This is the biggest uranium company in the world. And they always say, show me a new high and I'll show you a buy. Higher highs and higher lows define a bull market. I mean, something's going on here. If I'm lucky, maybe through the summer, I can get a pullback. There's a nice tail in there with a bunch of trap bears. So if I can sneak in there, I might. And then looking sort of down the food chain, this is one that's been popular within our stock pickers group, especially David. I think he really likes this one. But back into reload zones, we've broken down trend lines. I don't have the momentum indicators on here, but we got bit divergences coming in down here. And of course, you can see the cute little W that just fired. So if I actually get a pullback down into this bottom here area, I think I'm going to go pick some of this up. So I thought that was a really interesting development coming out of the park. And of course, who the heck's talking about uranium right now? Nobody in the market is talking about uranium. So if anything, it makes perfect sense that it's going to quietly go put in a bottom and all hell's going to break loose. I don't know whether I really like the idea of chasing the high flyers. There is like the tech stocks, they've already run an awful long way. And I did notice that things like NASDAQ really getting punched in the nose here today. And I just wonder whether we've just gotten a little long in the tooth. Of course, Bitcoin, I suppose we'll talk a little bit about that, what's going on there. I mean, it's just up and down like a horse drawers. But, I picked up some of that. My proxy in the space, the only one I was able to get into, because there was a bunch that I was interested in. But this was about the only one I was able to actually like really pull the trigger on. And I was kind of warning the other day, and I put tweets and stuff about it. I don't think it's a good idea to come in and chase that up there. If you bought the W's, great. If you bought the Wyckoff checks of the W's, great. But coming in and buying there, this is actually getting close to a profit taking level. So I get the impression that that maybe this isn't the best place to go fishing in the marketplace. There are some other interesting areas of the market, though. Like I said, like the uranium sector sure looks interesting. Also, too, I noticed, the natural gas is trying to bottom. I think I don't think it's quite bottomed yet, but I did notice, and we had an interesting conversation about this recently. I don't know whether these alternative fuel stocks have actually bottomed yet. It might be like the next 6 months or so we see some sort of bottom. But this Westport here, this is sort of a Canadian proxy on the natural gas market. They service, the big trucks and stuff like that for natural gas. And they're even in the hydrogen business. You've heard how much I'm excited about Toyota getting into the hydrogen business. And lo and behold, look at what they just went and did. So they rolled the stock back 10 for 1. And actually, all the people who are in our education program, this is exactly what we teach you in the fundamental analysis. You guys just did this, right? So now this stock, it has 17 million shares out. Oh, how much Brian gets excited about that kind of number. And what was really interesting is, oh, hello, that's an outside upside engulfing bar. And it sure looks like this thing's trying to bottom. So I don't know whether I really want to go pull the trigger today. I know we did have an interesting conversation recently about things like plug power and Ballard power and stuff. I don't know whether they've actually bottomed yet, but I tell you, I sure am getting interested. And one of the final tells that it's like, okay, this thing's now starting to be a value stock again. They just rolled the damn stock back and there's only 17 million out, which is, right in that sweet spot of sexy sex. So, and I mean, you look at that chart. I mean, is that not looking very W-y and big outside reversals? And the reversal was also done on pretty heavy volume too. So some buyers definitely came in and bought. Nice momentum, nice divergences. So I'm going to be keeping a close eye on this thing as for a trade. So FYI there. Tech is kind of looking a little toppy. Actually, geez, looks like gold's a bit toppy too. If anything, this is also a really good analogy. I've told take a screenshot of this because I've told you guys this repeatedly. Try and learn from this stuff. Usually, when gold's having a big down day, what's energy doing? Well, energy is having an up day. Whoa, what a surprise. I wouldn't be surprised. Interesting how we have this W. Like I said, this is like total no man's land. As a day trader, I shouldn't even be touching this. I could maybe buy against these lows, maybe buy against this horizontal support, maybe if we did dip back down against these lows. And really what I'm thinking is I like the idea of hunting a short against this Foggenbaum up here, ATR, and of course, horizontal support and resistance up top there. But right here, I shouldn't be doing anything. This has got trouble written all over it. Then, hence when I made those two mistakes, I actually looked at what I was doing. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And I had to just force myself to shut it down. But anyway, interesting comment or point here on the gold. Gee whiz. That's this guy. This guy's like the gold bug, right? And Larry's making fun of these guys. I'll show you one image. Just if you are a gold bug, you should acknowledge this. This is a dangerous, ugly image. This is, we'll go through this chart deck after we're done the free video in the after party. But just to show you, like one image that just shocked me when I saw this was, you tell me, is it a good idea to be getting bullish of the gold market here? This is the inflation. And of course, they always say gold follows inflation. I mean, it does to a certain degree, but it also doesn't. I won't get into that now. But there is basically the projected path of inflation and gold prices. Do you really want to get too bullish of gold in here? I mean, you see what inflation when it fell off the cliff here a few years ago, and what did gold price have to do? And of course, you can see the double tops and all that kind of talk, and boom, down it goes. So, do we really want to get too bullish of gold in here? Ooh, I don't know. So anyway, so it is kind of interesting to see somebody's holding, handing gold its lunch here today. Kaboom. So anyway, food for thought. Canadians just did raise their interest rates. I'm not necessarily saying that the Americans will or won't, and I certainly know they're not going to lower interest rates anytime soon. But judging by what I'm seeing here, especially seeing the way the Japanese yen is really rolling over, I was pretty surprised about this. I didn't see anybody talking about this, but actually, here's a really good tip for you guys, right? So, again, if you're here to learn from this guy who's played the market for 35 years, I woke up this morning and I load up this page. I like this page because they have like a nice summary of the markets here just before you get your day going. And interestingly enough, and you can see Dow's up 45, Nasdaq's down 195, S&P 500 is down 1/3%. I mean, it's sort of a mixed bag here, but look at Japan. Holy crap. So this is a really handy little tell for you. If you wake up and you see that Japan is down like almost 2% on the day, I don't think you should be thinking too bullishly of the market here. If anything, that's a major, major warning sign. So I even posted that in our lounge here first thing this morning when I saw that. I was like, people, let's, oops, actually, that's not what I wanted. Oh, geez. God, where does the time go? I don't even think, wow, I hope I gave you guys some value here today. I showed you how, at least I acknowledge the fact that I'm pretty good at losing money. But anyway, so I even posted this morning. That's to our community. That's not a good sign. If anything, this should be almost like, hey, don't be surprised if you see the U.S. markets down 1.5%, 2% on the day by the end of the day. And interestingly enough, when I did my analysis this morning, and I suppose we can just look at the S&Ps right here. Well, actually, no. Yeah, let's go over here. I had, my 4-hour chart. I mean, it's riddled with trade location. And we've talked lots about this. I mean, I think that this is a megaphone, exactly like we just saw out of Bitcoin. And I think Bitcoin's an excellent leading indicator. So if Bitcoin goes in megaphones, well, it really shouldn't surprise us if we see the American big stock market go in megaphone too. And the first thing this morning, well, look at where we were sitting here. Pretty good trade location. The only problem with the day trade is I just didn't have anything set up off that level. You can see, I'm a guy who eats my own cooking. So if I'm going to teach a course on trading setups, then you're going to see that, I'm going to show you El Tango Naders because that's my setup that I teach you guys in the course. And as you can see, there was no bearish divergence. Willie didn't get stupid actually at all. Never did get stupid at all. So I never really did have a trade set up. You can see halfway through the day, I was sort of like, okay, well, if I can get a counter trend rally, then a bear div, and then an M and all that up in this trade location, great, I'll take the trade. But it was just straight up, straight down. So there was really nothing I could do. Having said that, like I said there just a second ago, and you can probably see it better off of this chart. Like I drew this out recently. You can see nothing's really changed here. And then the whole point of me mentioning this is you look at Japan and what it did overnight, and ay caramba, that's not a good sign. So don't be shocked if you see the U.S. market come off here a chunk. And actually, it's interesting because David O, our OG in the Stock Pickers Club last night, said that actually he's short the NASDAQ right now. So way to go, David. You are awesome. I suppose you could argue there's a cute little double top now that I could probably like drill down to like a 4-hour chart. And there it is. Hello. So a really good lesson. Write this down. What are you supposed to think if you ever see the market smiling at you? Uh-oh. And then, we can even come up with price objectives. Now everybody knows chaos theory and fog and bombs. And what a surprise. Our first target should be a test of these lows. And that will probably bring in some buy orders to those people that are short up here, going to cover those. And then your next target, probably this 4669, probably lines up nicely with that 200 SMA down the road. So that's not really the most encouraging image. And I suppose we'll finish off with just a quick comment about Bitcoin. We talked, of course, through the weekend about how this chart was looking very, very nasty. Had a little bit of a dead cat bounce come out of yesterday, which was interesting. It looks like the crypto market is giving back a chunk of that dead cat bounce. Keep in mind, these are weekly charts. Bitcoin had quite a dead cat bounce yesterday. But you can see it's starting to slip back down here. We'll see how these weekly candles finish. I think a lot of technical damage has been done. And it's interesting. I think the most important comment I can make about Bitcoin right now was this one line: moving average brick wall of support starting to crack. So notice we had the big dump. We had a huge emotional response out of the crypto social media influencers. Probably maybe a little too negative. Everybody's like, oh my God, this guy's falling. And oh, we hate the SEC. And oh, poor old CZ. I wrote a very long letter about how if you actually look into it, CZ is quite a criminal. I mean, he's broken a lot of long-standing laws about securities manipulations. Just go watch Crypto Chico. or Chico Crypto, Tyler, I think his name is. I mean, he talks at end about how corrupt CZ is, but nobody wants to listen to that kind of stuff, right? The only thing people want to listen to, and again, this is these jerks. The only thing people want to listen to is Moon, or it's all going to zero, right? And it's all going to crash, right? And buy my newsletter and all that kind of stuff. But Chico, I have a great respect for Tyler, because at the top of crypto markets, that's when he's barking about, hey, this is insanity. Why are you buying these meme coins? And there's no value in any of this. And CZ's gone and created another big $100 billion win with pumping up some corrupt shill or whatever. And then nobody listens. And I remember Tyler got really, really upset. And he actually was brought to tears the last crypto bull cycle about how just stupid the market got. And long and short of it here is Tyler's repeatedly talked about how troublesome CZ is. I don't know whether there's any merit against the SEC going after Coinbase, because that's kind of hypocritical. They let Coinbase do an IPO and now they're going to sue Coinbase for not following the rules. I mean, what the hell? And I think to a certain degree, that's what the market kind of, when it rebounded, when it was just going after CZ, it was like, okay, that makes sense, right? Yeah, this is going to really kick the crypto in the shins. Then the next day they announced that they're going after Coinbase, and everybody's sort of like, well, this is just utter hypocrisy. And I hate to say it, but what this really is this is crony capitalism. And that's sort of what I tried to point out with this long letter, was that I think what's really going on here is the SEC is nothing more than a political tool. And it, going after crypto and going after it the way that they are, this just stinks of politics. And, the big banksters and the way that they want to do their central bank digital currencies, and they want to drive everybody out of the business, which of course, the big banksters are heavily bought. They own the politicians and all that crap. And I hate to say it, but I think the market lost a lot of respect for the SEC yesterday by them also going after Coinbase. And I think that's half of the reason why the market snapped back as violently as it did. The issue here, and this is what I sort of said in my tweet here this morning, and I'll just finish it off with this video here, is I still think that we've broken down. Short setups are working. This is our three-step setup that we teach in the level 1 program. Grim does a great job of teaching this. And I can't really get bullish of Bitcoin until we actually close and W out above this trend line. And what I often see happen in markets, and I think this is a really good lesson for everybody, is that quite often the market will just do nothing more than just oscillate along a trend line. I think that's exactly what's going on here. This is going to drive everybody crazy. So extreme down move, everybody's bearish, so let's take it back up top. Extreme up move, a huge pop, and that was through that holiday weekend. Everybody's getting bullish again. All right, let's take it back down. Right back to the trend line, a little bit of up, then big face plant. Everybody's bearish. All right, all the bulls have been washed out. Let's take it back up, back and forth, up and down, up and down, up and down. Just drive you absolutely crazy. Now, what I will say here is if the market can hold above this trend line and actually put in a nice big W on the other side of this trend line over here, I will temper my bearish enthusiasm. But for now, and it's been the same darn message, this is like this is a daily chart, so it's not really that bad, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40 days. Oh, jeez, I can't believe I can count that high. There's really nothing new to do here. Nothing has changed. And actually, it's a little less than 40. And that's got to be the same message is, well, still pointing down. We're still in that ugly seasonal window. And really, I don't think we get bullish again until we can get on the other side of this window. And in the after party, we'll talk a little bit more about what Mr. Williams said, because he actually had a whole bunch of reasons why he thinks that the market won't bottom until we get on the other side of this sort of US big wrap yourself in the flag holiday weekend. So there's your report for the day. Sure hope you got some value out of that. I tried to show you a couple tidbits, take some screenshots, go back and watch back, fill your journals out. There's always stuff that you can learn in the market. And even on kind of a shitty day for me, opening range trade was a scratch trade. I ended up actually giving the market 30 ticks here when I really shouldn't have. That was just stupid trading. So I shut everything down. Basically Brian's a big fat loser, but I think at the same time too, there's always new stuff that you can learn and that you can get value out of these kind of rants. And I think there was a few things that I said there today that I think are of some value. All right, everybody, have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. We'll try and do a Coinigy show this evening. So if you're into crypto and you want to talk altcoins and a lot more Bitcoin kind of talk, we'll hook up with the Coinigy guys tonight and do one of those offerings. All right. Have yourselves a great day. All the best, and bye for now.